Welcome to Designer Discussions with Jason and Miriam. Today, Jason's going to talk to us about how you build a design and remodeling brand that homeowners can trust. Welcome to the Designer Discussions podcast with
Jason
and Miriam. Tune in each week where we talk about marketing, PR, and business advice for design professionals.
Thanks, Mirjam. This is actually a blog that we have on our website, and I'll have a link to it in the show notes. But this is something that we're asked about from our clients and from prospects is how do we build trust with the homeowner so they can choose us over the competition. So I'm going to go over a few of the items we have in there that are actually, like I said, in the blog. And at the end, we're going to talk about some other ways that we can help you out individually with the academy, and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. But instantly, or what I would say first is creating a website that is a professional looking website that is up to date. And that sounds obvious, but it's not always used in practice, because oftentimes I'll see websites that are not professional in nature because you're working on the client projects. You don't have time to tend to the website, and you don't have time to keep it up to date. But this is one of those factors that a homeowner looks at first. They look at your website, they look at social media to do research on you and learn who you are, what you do, and all that. So having a professional, up-to-date website is vital. Making sure that it represents who you are. Whatever you do, who you are, whatever you stand for, you need to make sure that that's represented in the content on your website and that it's up to date. Okay. You need to have the high quality images of up to date projects, not projects that are 4 or 5 years old, but the ones that you've done within the last year. It helps if you have galleries that have before and after images so they can see how you actually transform a space. You should have client testimonials on there. And on the services, you should be able to explain exactly what you do and what actually differentiates you from the competition. Okay. And making sure your site loads fast on a mobile device and desktop, because oftentimes they're going to start on a mobile device, but then if they're interested, then they'll take it to a desktop to do more research on you. And it should be mobile friendly, obviously, because like I said, the majority of search starts on a mobile device. Okay. So that's the initial step. The next one ties into the website is making sure you have professional photography. A lot of designers and remodelers out there like to get away with not having professional photography, and they use either their cell phone or mobile device, which usually has good cameras, but a professional photographer knows a lot more than just, the camera. They know about the lighting, they know the angles, they know the type of shots you need to show your project in the best light. So for your best projects, you get professional photography and use that on your website, on social media, and on all the avenues. That actually differentiates you from a lot of your competition, because I've seen a lot of websites and not all of them have professional photography. And you could tell the difference between an image that is crisp and clear and shows your project in the right way and an individual or owner who just used their cell phone to take the picture. That helps you because it really enhances your project and what you've done, and it shows that transformation better. Because if you could show a before image and then show a professional after image, it's hard to beat that in terms of the quality and the detail that you would get in those type of images. Okay. And that helps to build trust, because now the homeowner is able to see the type of quality you do in your projects. Okay. Next is reviews. This is something we often talk about with SEO, and it's important on the SEO side, but also for the homeowner. They want to see what others have to say about you. I would say don't just list all of your 5-star reviews. Honestly, list even the 4 stars. And even if you have some of the 3-star or the 2-star where you explained what happened or anything that how you may have addressed that issue. Because we have a client, I had talked about this years ago. We have a client that had a 1-star review. They wrote a post that explained what happened, and the client ended up changing their tune. They actually got a project because of how they responded professionally to that 1-star review. Just having all the 5 stars is great, but showing all of the reviews that you have and how you handle them, and that ties into making sure you respond to every review, no matter if it's a 1-star, 5-star, whatever it is, just to say, we appreciate your time writing the review or whatever it is, but making sure that you respond to every review is important. And having those on there will build trust with the client. Next, branding wise, ensuring your brand is consistent across all platforms, whether that's your website, social media, whether it's your proposals. Everything that you do, it ties into what you have with the logo, the color scheme, your tone, that is consistent throughout all channels. That shows confidence in what you do. And then the prospect or homeowner looks at that, and oftentimes they're able to view you in a different light because they know you've done everything the right way and you have a consistent brand. And then they're able to see what you did on your website with the before and afters. You're going to do that for them as well because you have that consistency, and it shows throughout everything that you do. Lastly, what I'm going to end with is what'll help you stand out is if you educate the homeowner and not just sell to them. When you present your information, whether it be on your website, on your social media, or whatever it is, if you actually educate about what you do, that helps paint you as an expert in the industry and not just another commodity. Now, when they look at you actually explaining what you did and educating them about your process, about the design you did, you're able to set yourself apart from the designer down the street because they view you as an expert that's showing your information as opposed to another designer that they're just looking at to see and how much everything costs. And when you educate like that, you're viewed in the sense that you're not just judged on price, but you're viewed on the quality of your work. And so when they compare you to others, it's kind of hard to compare because they're looking at everybody else just at price, but they're looking at you more as an expert in the field and in your industry. Making sure you educate and not just sell helps you stand out from the rest as you want to be seen as an expert. These are just a few of the tips we have in here so to have you get that instant trust that you want from the homeowners. So like I said, there are some other things we have on the blog, and I'll have a link to that in the website. Also, what I wanted to say is that we teach a lot about this in the academy. And that's something that we're going to be opening within the next few weeks. And if you're interested, I'll have a link to that in the show notes as well. That's what I want to talk about today. And if you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to answer them. And we hope to hear and see you all in 2 weeks on Designer Discussions. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Designer Discussions and all of the helpful information. Subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and share it with your friends. We look forward to having you back next week. For more information on the podcast and the marketing studio, visit designerdiscussions.com and follow us on social media.